With Bond Performance here with the last segment of the RS6-ish build for this round of mods at least. Going to be lowering it on some H&R springs, and it's not really going to be much of a DIY, but I'm going to show a little bit along the way and obviously the finished result. So let's get started. All right, so the rear is ready to go back together. I'll just open with this is not for the faint of heart. Not that it was time consuming, but if there was ever a Volkswagen Audi job to get you hurt, this would be it. There really isn't a way to get these springs out of here without drop. It's in the drooped position now, and that's really the only way to relieve spring pressure, and you're never going to get all of it off. So pulling the stock springs out with pry bar and obviously being as safe as possible. If you're not a professional or very well vested in your mechanical ability, I would say probably skip this as a DIY, because there's lots of opportunities to get yourself in a pinch, pun intended. Starting the day off with Apple iPhone, horrible performance. It'll work its way out of it eventually, but just deal with the short clips for now. Before you get started, you always want to disconnect all the sensors. Don't forget this one for the headlights. On both sides, ABS sensors, stuff like that. Make sure you don't break anything. Sway bar needs to come undone next. Shock, love it, love this iPhone. Okay, shock bolts are getting replaced. New subframe bolts going in, and there's 4 positions for those. There's some shields that come off to expose these plates and these bolts, and then basically it's just a wiggle and pry exercise to get the old springs out and the new ones in, which these are. You reuse the factory rubber isolators. I chose not to reinstall wind deflectors, mainly just because it's such a pain in the butt, but also because I mean, it's a performance build now, not a luxury grandma build. So, all right, so here it is, all torqued up. Everything's complete in the rear, except for these aerodynamic shields I still gotta throw on. I might have to reposition the lift to get those on, just because they kind of squeeze up in here. So we'll see about that. But yeah, that's a wrap back here. Little trick for torque to yield bolts is to do your initial torque and put a straight line 90 degrees from where, and then just, you know, as many turns as it takes to get your 90-degree turn to finish off that torque. So I'm gonna move the toolbox up front and get started on those. All right, so I'll catch you guys up. This side is done and torqued, with the exception of this through bolt here. It got a little boogered up on the way out, so that's just there to be safe. But new bolts are on the way for both sides, just might as well. And yeah, this side's all reassembled and torqued to spec. So I'll show you the key points over on this side that's about ready to come apart. You want to have the suspension loaded and undo this pinch bolt, and it comes apart pretty easy with a good load on the suspension. Bolt comes out, these get tapped up out of the knuckle. Obviously before that, I don't know if I ran through it earlier or not, rear sway bar and the electrical should be the first things disconnected before you start. And then this lower link and the pinch bolt, and with a strut spreader like you see here, the strut assembly slides right out of the knuckle. No big deal, plenty of room to move stuff around. And down to just dropping the car down, make sure there's nothing under it. Drop the car down and unbolt the 4 bolts from the strut mount from the body, and throw on the last of our H&R springs. So overall not too bad. The rear is actually more of a pain than the front, which is usually not the case with Volkswagens. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep plugging away and show you what it looks like once it's all wrapped up. Might as well show up top here. These are your 4 mounting points for the strut mount up top. On the other side, I had to move the washer fluid bottle, and I also moved the coolant bottle a little bit just to avoid having any issues with this plastic line here. So pretty straightforward. They actually give you an access hole to be able to reach in and help guide the strut assembly in and out. Just a plastic cover that goes in there. So I'll keep going on, get some of these leaves out of here, and show you what it looks like done. All right, this is it, final product. Got everything all wrapped up, and just waiting on the owner to come. He's gonna bring that one fastener that needed replaced, and with it up in the air, I can actually get to that, no issue with the wheels on. So that's a wrap. I'm gonna go grab a shop vac and get those leaves out from under the engine cowl and put that cowl on, and is ready to go. So I'll do another video with some driving clips. It's kind of rainy out, so hopefully that'll let up. But hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and if you watched the whole series, I hope you liked it on the RS6-ish Allroad. Thanks for watching.